Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Tuesday.
I'm not quite sure how this kind of thing happens. Several train cars with grain in them derailed at low speed in Alberta after two trains sideswiped each other. That's what I read in the headline. The word sideswiped. I gotta let it sit for a second with you because it had to sit with me for a moment. I know that it's not that simple. I'm no expert in train transportation and technology, but I mean, I get it. Tracks overlap, they split, they join, they can be used in either direction, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes something goes wrong, miscalculations happen. But the initial reaction I had is, aren't trains on tracks? And how do trains sideswipe each other if they're on said tracks? Maybe move the tracks a little farther apart, right? I mean, that's first thought. Second thought is, that's a pretty cool title for a movie. Sideswipe with Liam Neeson this fall. Sounds cool, right? Apparently the first, mass-produced flying car is something that's going to be on the market as early as next year. That's the intention, anyway. We've been hearing a lot about this. Air Car is the name. I mean, you probably could have workshopped that a little bit further. It does the job, but it just kind of does the job. Air Car. Anyway, it's going to cost $1 million, first of all. Yeah, not exactly available to everybody. But the intention is that they are going to try and make this an actual thing, with tests getting to the point of 170 hours in one vehicle, more than 500 takeoffs and landing. And it's passing the tests, I guess, in every way that it needs to so far. And kind of a hybrid. Of course, you can drive it, and then it does exactly what I think it does is the valmorphication process from Team America World Police. It's like a transformer. It's going to turn into a plane around you and then hopefully turn back into a car afterwards. Otherwise, you're going to be a little wide for the highway, I'd have to say. I guess it goes 621 miles. It can reach as high as 18,000 feet and just fuel from the pump. I mean, like straight up from the gas station. No jet fuel needed. Carries two people and is, lightweight as it needs to be. The only thing I'm concerned with is, of course, the same thing I'm concerned with regular old streetcars, and that's the drivers that are in them. I can't wait for regular old road drivers to be airborne and so much more dangerous.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
The most recent tumble on stage that Axl Rose has had apparently happened May 17th in India. The very first one that we've actually seen a video of was apparently from about 1989 or so, and that from a show in Los Angeles. We know this because Guns N' Roses has shared a compilation video of their frontman falling on stage through 3 different decades. It's pretty incredible. Of course, shared up on their Instagram right now. It's ready to go. They call it Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits. Foo Fighters following up the announcement that they were going to be showing up at a big festival in elsewhere in the world. Now, of course, it's turning into a 2025 world tour, minus the drummer that had been playing with them since the loss of Taylor Hawk as well. So this is going to be all over the world. Indonesia, Japan, and more are already on the list, including Singapore for the F1 Grand Prix headline show that was previously announced, and more taking place all the way through October as well. Just announced all over their social media, and I guess more to come. They're actually going to be adding some North America dates in a big way. Now, there's been a missing graveside bust that Jim Morrison is associated with, placed on his grave back in 1981, stolen years later, and I guess after almost 4 decades, it's been found again, and by chance. I guess it was during just an investigation in Paris. French police were looking into an anti-corruption scandal, and it was completely unrelated, nothing to do with this theft of this bust, and while they were at it, they went, hey, that looks kind of familiar. Mystery solved. And that's it for your music news this morning. Got to see the latest Final Destination movie last night. Finally did fit it in very last minute possible, very last showing possible on the Monday. I was determined, though, to get it in there before the long weekend was done, and I prepped for it. Not always do I even have time for this. Not always do we have the ability, but there are just available to stream on a few different spots. The Final Destination movies, the 5 that exist so far. I'm telling you right now, though, if you are also doing the prep work, you're trying to watch through those, you haven't seen the new one just yet, or watch the new one, you're going, hey, how were those old movies again? It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm just telling you right now, skip 2 and 4. They're just really not as good as the other ones. You're going to have a much better time enjoying yourself going through all the other ones, especially as it kind of leads into, and I will say loosely connects into this latest, I was going to say final entry into the franchise. They've got final in every title. I don't think we're ever going to be done with these movies. It's going to just be enough time for them to figure out a new script, and we'll be back to the races. Although, unfortunately, we know that it won't be with Tony Todd, a.k.a., really most famous for being Candyman. What a great movie from when I was growing up. But also Bloodworth from most of the Final Destination movies, returning once again in that role for this one. However, also the movie is dedicated to him as he's no longer with us. And a great performance as well for the time that you do have him on screen.
Wednesday.
1 game down with the Florida Panthers taking out the Carolina Hurricanes 5-2. And it's on tap for tonight. You're going to be noticing some jerseys today, I guarantee you. Some people driving around with their flags flapping very, very, very happily in the wind. Oilers are going to be on the road at the Dallas Stars for the first game in their conference finals. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time for puck drop time. And I just need to let everybody know, you got to be aware, you're going to need to have your bandwagon transfer forms completed and submitted in triplicate before the game begins tonight. Otherwise, they're null and void. Every spring, we play this clip from, I don't even know how long ago, many, many years back. What makes it a tradition? Well, the fact that I just keep doing it every single spring.
The insects of northern Alberta in the springtime are numerous and of a wide variety. Take the giant water bug. Coming in at roughly the size of a small person's hand, it finds its home in the nightmare center of the psyche almost instantly. Soon, it will be time for the white-spotted sawyer, commonly referred to as the Tarzan beetle, or the, oh god, get it off me, why won't this f***ing thing get off me, to take its turn terrorizing people in parking lots everywhere. As the ants begin a new season of colonizing your yard, you may have noticed the ungodly hybrid of ants with wings flying directly towards you. I swear, like it's on purpose, man. The little larvae of butterflies and giant moths hang near invisible, like ninjas on sticky string, from the branches of every single tree you walk under. And thousands of species of spider lay in wait to scare your pants literally off. They spread out densely, at approximately 1 spider every square foot, or about 3 billion spiders to every 1 person avoiding them. For a more complete story on every tiny insect that wants to kill you in northern Alberta, contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa.
The world's largest Nanaimo bar was not only crafted, created, but then shared, presumably eaten up by faculty, other students, and visitors to the event. So it's a big stunt that was put on to help out the professional baking pastry arts program and to get some attention on the skills of the people that go through it and the businesses that have come out of the people that have gone through it. Holy cow. Butter, just the butter alone, just that one ingredient in the recipe, the weight of a baby elephant. It has been certified now as the world's largest Nanaimo bar. The specs, because that's the most important part, 21.3 meters long, approximately 70 feet by about 1 meter, 3 feet wide, 500 kilograms, totaling about 1,100 pounds. It was at the Windsor Plywood Trades Discovery Center on the VIU Nanaimo campus, and this thing is beautiful. It is a sight to behold. It is fantastic, so Canadian. You know it's going to be so delicious. They say the base, very, very crunchy, not too much coconut content. That's exactly how I like it. And yet, with the accolade of being the world's largest Nanaimo bar. Sorry, it's still not as good as Mom's.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Looks like Foreigner was in need of a new frontman, although that has already been figured out. Kelly Hansen has just announced that he is going to be leaving the band. citing, hey, it's time to pass the mic, and specifically announcing who would be taking up the mantle. It's foreigner guitarist Luis Maldonado, who will be the frontman now. Of course, this is a second change along the run, as Kelly Hansen did take over for the original frontman, Lou Gramm, way back when. And Gorillaz, they're going to be celebrating 25 years of a band that started just to kind of make fun of how children consumed music, or teens rather consumed music, and just, if we made a cartoon band, it would be the most popular thing. Well, they've since then become their own entity and force to be reckoned with in the waves of music. And 25 years later, they're going to be celebrating with a London exhibition. That's going to be a limited run, of course, at a place called the Copper Box. Ticket holders are going to be able to access pre-sales. House of Kong is the name of it. I would love to go. But unless you're in the area August 8th to September 3rd, you're out of luck. Sad news to end off on. The members of ABBA are reeling from the loss of somebody who was key to not only their sound, but their success. Sound engineer Michael B. Tretto has died at the age of 90. His family confirmed it to a Swedish publication. AI fail of the week. So what happened was a pile of national newspapers down in America. They ran a summer reading list insert, sort of a portion of this 64-page insert, the kind of thing that falls out of the middle of the newspaper, and it's just some extra stuff. But one of the things that was in there was a reading list, a summer reading list of recommendations, a pile of books, each with a blurb about the author and the book being recommended. One major problem, though, was that while attempting to promote not only, the works of writers applying their creativity to the written word as they craft stories and accounts for us to experience, and as well the activity of reading in and of itself, papers are print media after all, you'd think that would be in their best interest, they mass published an article that was written by AI, and of course, the majority of the books being recommended on the list don't actually exist. One entry on the list was describing a book by Andy Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian, titled The Last Algorithm. It was never written. It will not be written, let alone published. 10 out of the 15 recommendations, 2/3, can't actually be read, can't be enjoyed, can't be experienced, because they don't exist. They're not on this earth. This didn't just slip through the cracks. Oh, whoops, a little whoopsie. It's a blatant, erosion, destruction of the point of writing in the written word. I'm on my soapbox. It's careless and clumsy at the bottom line. And, in the words of Mr. Rogers,
your own imagination is far more wonderful than any computer could ever be.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.